I'm your host, Elizabeth, and this is For the Talkers. Hello, talkers, and happy Friday. I just got home from work. It's a very slow, simple day, really. Most of my coworkers are out due to the holidays, and that is why we are doing this episode on Friday this week, but I could not wait a week to share this with you guys. I hope you all had a lovely end of December holiday time, however that looks for you. In this episode, actually, we kind of talk about how the holidays are just weird when you're an adult. They're just different. And it really, I feel like, depends on the overall dynamic of your family and like your traditions and what you do. Cause I was thinking about it and I feel like a lot of people had these, really strong traditions, but they're like as kids, if that makes sense. And I'm in a weird spot in my family right now where I'm the youngest of 5 kids. And so I don't have children and I very much feel still like the baby of the family, but we have literal babies in the family now, my nieces and nephews. So nephew, only one nephew. He's the best. And so it's just weird. It's a different dynamic and it's fun to navigate and spend time with family still, but it's definitely different than when, I was the young child getting owl pajamas while everyone else got sweatpants. If I can find the photo, I will share. But I'm happy to be here. I'm feeling like honestly really anxious about the year ending. My 2024 has certainly done something. I'll definitely do more of a, full new year recap, but wow, 2024 just really let me have it. It's been lovely. I was talking to Grace the other day. For those of you who may be new here, Grace is my fiance. And I was just telling her about I love the podcast and I want to be my most authentic self and maintain a certain level of privacy, right? So still learning how to navigate that. So we'll see how I feel about that next episode. I might share a lot. We will see. Cuz it's hard, right? Like I want this podcast specifically to just be so authentic and down to earth and real. And I'm trying to figure out how I wanna blend that with also maintaining, like I said, like, privacy and just not putting everything out, but, like, I kind of want everything to be out there because I feel like that is a great way to connect and a great way to, just be real with people, right? And so we shall see, but I'm so grateful for all of you. The next episode will be in January. So this is it for 2024 and literally cannot think of a better episode to end it with. And this is also the last episode in our confidence season. I will be doing a kind of a recap on what I learned and kind of compiling a lot of the things that common themes and stuff that were mentioned in the season. But today I'm joined by Lily and Addie, and they are the hosts of the Girls Unhinged podcast. And they also live here in Utah, so they got to come over and we could record in person, which was so fun. I haven't done like an in-person interview in a long time. So that was super fun. Definitely grateful for them and all that they brought to this conversation on confidence. Their podcast is all about life and great vibes, and they do such a good job of really embodying your 20s, and that's all about their show. So definitely go give that a listen. My favorite episode, I would say, is No Question Left Behind. So if you're looking for a place to start, that would be my recommendation. And they have some fun holiday episodes as well. So yeah, that's kind of my intro. I'm feeling just happy to be here. Like I said, I don't know. I'm curious about how all of you are feeling going into 2025. Anxious really is just the best word to put it for me. I'm not ready. I'm not there, but time seems to move on whether I want it to or not. So, we will move right on to today's episode. Let me tell you a little bit more about Addie and Lily. Addie Huff is from Santa Quinn, Utah, and is the oldest of 3 kids, and she currently lives in Salt Lake City. She's studying psychology with a minor in health education at the University of Utah. She values connection, empathy, and inner peace. Addie is passionate about showing up for people from all walks of life. She loves reading, doing yoga. She is a certified yoga instructor, spending quality time with friends and family, and hanging out with her 2 cats. She is from Alpine, Utah, and is the only girl out of 4 boys in her family. She has her undergraduate degree in art history and curatorial studies and currently works in marketing and project management. She values adventure and connecting with others. She is passionate about learning from other cultures and sharing people's stories and experiences. She loves traveling, cooking, running, Pilates, surfing, unhinged conversations with her friends, and will do just about anything that gets her outside of her comfort zone. And like I said, Addie and Lily perfectly embody just the spirit of your 20s. Girls Unhinged, here they are.
Hi. I'm so excited to be here.
Yep, it's starting off great. This is amazing, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think about confidence.
We have so much to say.
So much.
We always do.
Yes.
We always have something.
We're here to yap. We're just some
it.
girls wanting to chat. Okay, so we're gonna start with our happy, funny, sad moments. So any listeners from the Girls Unhinged podcast For the Talkers, we always start with our happy, funny, sad moments. So my happy is we were at Target the other day and we had 1 box of mac and cheese and the self-checkout line was like, it was so long and I was like, really? Like, I hate this. And this lady like noticed that we only had 1 thing. And so she like let us go ahead. Little things, right? So it's just made me so happy. I was like, oh, thank you.
Especially during the holidays.
Yeah.
And Target's a nightmare in general.
General. Like, come on, people. It's Target. This is supposed to be my happy place.
Get
it together.
Said I want to.
Yes, literally. Okay, let's hear you.
Oh my goodness, my voice just went all weird. My happy, I guess this is kind of an overarching one, but this week I've had something every single night this planned.
Yeah.
So yesterday we watched Survivor, like my roommate and some friends. The previous night on Tuesday we had done a movie night with some other friends, painted ornaments on Monday.
That's awesome.
Did another thing on Sunday. I have stuff all day tomorrow and Saturday. So I'm just I love the holiday busyness. It made me so happy to be around people, and especially single girls, because that's just where we're at. That's where we're at. So just being able to connect with people like that, I'm like, oh, this is the best.
That's so fun. You're your social battery is just fueled every day.
It is so funny. We were texting later at night. It was on Tuesday or something, and Lily was like, I'm fired up right now. Because usually it's it was late. It was midnight, and I was like, you're still up, girl? And she was like, girl, I'm fired up.
I was ready to go.
I was like, okay, good fired up, or
you're like, how many more plans can I actually add in? Because I'm loving this.
Okay, my happy moment it's just all the holiday celebrations. So on Monday at my internship, we had a little work get together at the Grand, and it was so fun. We did our secret Santa gifts to each other, and then we had this really good meal, and it was so awesome. And then Tuesday, me and my roommate had a little roomie night, and we exchanged our gifts and did dinner. So it's been a fun week of holiday celebrations, which I love. Yeah. And just what you said, Lily, being around people. I love it.
Amazing. I always say, I feel like the holidays, there's an extra sparkle, going around. Everything's just more fun, more special, more sentimental almost. Okay, my funny moment. We have a bunch of fidget toys. So squishy ball things or spinners or whatever, and it's just so funny to me when people come over and they just naturally kind of grab something and start playing with it. I don't know, it's just so funny because we had a different one sitting out this week and we had multiple people come over and every single person had touched it at some point. So funny to me because no one says anything. They just start fidgeting with it. I'm that's what it's for, but I just found it so funny.
That's me with my niece's toys.
Yeah,
it's I'll just go sit down, the next thing I know I'm doing the magnet tile.
Yeah.
She went down for a nap, right? And I was like, oh.
You're these she's gone. For everyone.
This is awkward. Okay, on Sunday, I went to Sephora. And okay, I love the Sephora employees. They're brilliant. I love being in there, but they do scare me. Because I'm like, your makeup is so perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I want to like wear a hat with a hoodie also.
Exactly. I'm like, don't look at me. Don't come near me. I don't look as good as you. Like,
real.
Anyways, got my stuff, went up to check out, and I kept scanning my card, but it kept like saying it was like declined. And I was freaking out because I'm like, I have like $800 on my like debit card. Like, I don't know why it's declining.
Right.
I had my thumb over the chip and I was scanning the wrong end, and the girl's just sitting there like dead, like just looking at me, and I'm just like, please don't judge me. I'm like, I'm already afraid of you. Like, so I like go there.
I'm already in a vulnerable moment. Like,
I scanned it. Once it went through, I was like, all right, bye. Like,
you're
out.
out.
I was like, I'm not going back in there.
Yeah.
So catch me ordering everything online
now.
now.
Said I will never step
Apple
foot in there
Pay, do
again.
the Face ID.
That's crazy. I feel like card readers need to be more sophisticated at this point.
Or
don't be
the
making
person
me
using
feel
the
crazy.
I'm like sitting there scanning it time. I'm like, it's not working. I'm like, okay.
My funny moment was, so as I mentioned, me and my roommate had our little holiday Christmas party thing, and we got Jenga.
Okay.
And we like had it like stacked. And at one point she looks at me and she's like, I can't touch this anymore, and walks away.
You're like, that's the point of the game.
She's like, I'm not touching this. I was like, okay, like,
Is it still up? It's still up to this day.
to this day. But I was like, you should have seen me. I just like was staring at her. I was like, queen, like,
Yeah, come on now.
And then the next turn she knocked it.
Oh, she just knew. She like had that
knew.
intuition. She's like, it's gonna be me.
It's so funny though.
That's crazy. Okay, and then my sad is like really simple, but I lost a nail and it's just the worst. It hurts. It like throws off the aesthetic. It snags on everything. Yeah, so that was my sad.
That is a devastating loss. I'm not gonna lie.
It is.
We're just we're moving on from her because whatever.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, my sad. Okay, this is really pathetic. It's not pathetic. I know it's pathetic. Okay, anyways, I've just been so hyper aware of all my friends that are either married or like with their boyfriend and girlfriends, and I'm just like, I am so single. It kind of hurts right now that I'm like calling everyone. I'm like, can I hang out with you? And they're like, I'm with like so and so. I'm like, okay, so can we all hang out?
Yeah,
like I can third wheel.
literally.
I'm great. But it's just like that hyper awareness, especially around the holidays, where you're just
Yeah.
like,
I was gonna
I
say
just want someone to kiss and to hold my hand and to snuggle and watch movies with me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Real.
That's been my sad. I'm like, it's pathetic.
That's just been, I've been reminiscing about like times changing. It's so sad. I'm like, Christmas just ain't the same anymore. And it makes me so sad. And like, it's just like this particular Christmas season has been extra busy. I don't know like what it is, but I'm sad because I haven't been able to do or like hang out with my family as much. So I'm like,
Yeah. Some of the more
getting
like
older.
traditional Christmas
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Understandable. Okay, well, I say this every time. I'm like, I need to change this because like we go sad and it's like, okay, now let's move into this whole
It's a great
episode. Yeah.
transition.
But anyways, so we'll move right into talking about confidence. So Addie and Lily are also fellow girls in their 20s. So we have quite a different perspective to bring to the conversation on confidence than some of the previous guests. So we're going to get right into our questions. First being, what did you think or feel like confidence was when you're kind of growing up, you're going through elementary, high school, as opposed to now, you're like, maybe confidence is not that much.
I guess like if I could put it to like an image that like a universal image, I'd think like the Victoria's Secret angels, where it's just like these bombshells, just like strutting their stuff, like everyone's in awe of them, like just lights, the music, like
Yeah.
that's how I imagine like someone who is super confident. Like that's what's going on in their head. Is like they're walking down the street and they're like, I am
Okay.
Carly
I've seen
Kloss.
it.
I
I've
am.
seen it.
So I always thought it was very like, I guess like a very external projection.
Yeah. A
Kind
lot
of
of
thing.
attention.
You'd be like hanging out and then it's like boom, your attention is right on that person. So I always thought like, oh, you have to be loud, you have to be like extra outgoing, like almost extra extroverted.
Okay.
But I mean, since growing up I've learned it is very much not that, which is thank goodness, because I cannot imagine being like turned on like that all the time. That would be
My social die.
But yeah, now I'm like, it's a lot of like self-assurance, a lot of that internal, like being comfortable with yourself, like understanding, you know, if you try something, you're going to fail, but you still get up and you keep going. And that's kind of what I see as now, but correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think that's like a perfect like example, like external to internal, because I feel like when you're not confident, you're like always looking at other people, and you're always, so like you do only see that external, but you have to be like, okay, what about me? Who am I? Right?
Exactly.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. To extend on what you were saying, Lily, I feel like I used to think about confidence as more of like what other people thought of me, and like more kind of like what you're saying of that external, and just getting validation, I think, from other people. And like, I don't know. Yeah. I thought of it as like, well, I'm not worthy until someone tells me I am, or I don't know, just I almost had like reassurance of like the outside world to tell me that I can be confident. And now I think of it more as like, I trust myself and give myself grace. And I think that's super important, to be yourself in a way that is like authentic. And that's where you do feel confident, I think. Yeah. When you find that authentic version of yourself versus what you think you should be doing to get that approval and validation from other people. And yeah, kind of what you're saying, like it's like you're walking down like the runway, and it's like everyone's like looking at you. And like, especially in high school, I feel like it had to do a lot with like friend groups and like how many friends you have, and you know, just those things that really, as you get older, you start to realize like it should matter, like how you feel about your friends and that aspect. But I think that now I realize that like I can be okay by myself, and I don't need a big group of people, you know. It's just kind of like that self-assurance and being just confident and self-assured in who you are, I think is super important.
Yeah. Well, like you were saying, like being authentic, and then thinking about like high school, it's like, well, you don't know who you are.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
like you can't really, like, even now I'm still like, I don't know, who's Elizabeth? Like, we're trying to figure it out. And so I feel like, of course you can have a level of confidence, but I feel like you're still trying new things. Like you're saying, you're trying different friend groups. You're like figuring out who you are. And I don't feel like you can truly be confident until you know who you are, so that it can be authentic. But then at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. How do you know when you know who you are? Like,
but it also takes like that little bit of confidence to even try those new things, to even see if that's like for you, or if it's not. Because I mean, you have to have confidence in risk.
Yeah.
And like being outside of your comfort zone.
Yes.
So it's like, it's one of those like battles that you have to kind of, you're like, I don't have it, but I need to have it to be able to figure out how I get it. Like, I'm sure someone could do like a Venn diagram or like some sort of chart.
I was gonna say, I'm like seeing the circle where it's like you have to have it to get it, kind of thing. Yeah.
I feel like one more thing is that I feel like confidence also is, I used to think of it as something that was like, once I had it, it would always be there, and like I wouldn't necessarily like to work on it ever, and that's definitely not true. And you're put in situations like that you might feel imposter syndrome, or you know, and I think that is when you know you're confident, though, is when you can be self-aware of how you're feeling, and also realize that that doesn't dictate who you are as a person, and kind of like molding into that versus expecting yourself to attain to this standard all the time and striving for something that's like you just keep like reaching and reaching, and like you might get it, you might have that external whatever it is, but at the end of the day, I think it is just allowing yourself to realize that you need to give yourself that grace and just kind of mold into who you are and who that authentic person is, I think.
Yeah. And like such a good point of, it takes time, and like it isn't something that it's like, oh, check that, like I've got that now. And I feel like it also, like there's confidence overall, but then there's also like confidence in your job, confidence in your schooling, confidence in all sorts of different areas. And so like you might be really confident in one area, but like you're saying, then you might get to a different situation. It's like, I want to hide. Like, I'm not feeling very confident. So I love that. That's great. Any other thoughts on that? Okay, perfect. So, okay, what do you feel like, looking at old you, whatever age you want to put that as, right? Like something that you've done that makes you feel confident. So like, for example, for me, clothes have been a big one. I like comfy clothes. I like big clothes. In high school, I wore like the tightest clothes possible. Like, I don't know why. Like, I just like, that's just what I did. It like felt very secure. And then I was like, wait, no, I don't think I like that anymore. And so just like as simple as that, like only wearing things that like I genuinely feel good in. And it's like, it's weird because, you know, kind of like back to what you were saying of like, you look at people and you're like, oh, they're so confident because of what they're wearing. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, I want to wear like what's cute and what's trendy and whatever. But wearing what's authentic to you is really what's going to make you more confident. So that's something that I've started doing that I'm like, I feel like that makes a big difference. So
I love 100%. That.
Yeah. I agree. I love fashion as a way to not only express yourself, but again, give you that little confidence boost. If you go into a meeting wearing something that you're like, like I kind of look good, you're going to feel like meh the entire day. Yeah. But if you like wear something and you're like I look like a badass, like I am the hottest girl in this like room, it gives you that little boost. And it's like, you may not have the confidence initially to go give like a presentation or whatever, but that little outfit, that little like, okay, I feel good in what I'm wearing, I feel good in my skin, can give you that push towards the confidence to start doing that.
Yeah, totally.
I think also just like on that vein is like, taking risks and like stepping outside of your comfort zone is such a good way to practice confidence, because it's like you're gonna be scared no matter what, and the fear doesn't go away. So just like being like, okay, like I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna give it my best, I'm doing the best I can with the knowledge and the skill sets that I have, and I'm just gonna go for it. What happens. Like it's like exercise. I'm like, it's like exercising. You just have to keep working that muscle and like putting yourself in those situations where you can do that. Although, again, it's terrifying. Like, trust me, it's so scary. But you start to get used to it. It starts to become a little bit easier. You start to be like, okay, I know what to expect, or I know how that, like, rush of feelings will go. And so, I think just, like, again, putting yourself in situations, obviously don't go do something dangerous. Like,
sure. We're not saying be crazy. Yeah.
But, like, do things that you're scared to do, things that, like, you're like, oh, I'd love to go, you know, like, solo travel, for an example. Like, I'd love to go travel to this place, but I'm not sure. Just do it. Yeah. Because, like, you're going to sit on it anyways. It's going to be scary anyways. So why not do it scared? And then learn to be confident in that environment, so that the next time you do it, it's just even better.
Right. Yeah. Well, I love like practice. Like you have to like kind of exercise that, and it's not like what we were saying, like, you know, it doesn't just one day you're confident. So that's a great way to get there. Yeah.
I know. Like,
I just want to wake up one day
and it's like, I'm confident today.
Never have to think about it ever again.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I would say for me, trusting myself is something that I've started to do over the last few years it's really helped me in my confidence. And like, for example, let's say I'm having a situation and I need some advice. I've been first asking myself, well, what do I think about this? Because I think in the past it's super easy to just immediately go to someone else and be like, well, what should I do? And, you know, and so I think it's important to kind of have that trust in yourself and have an idea of kind of what you're thinking, I think is really important. And I think that can help you with taking those risks, right? Like, yes, you might be scared and you might not want to do it, but trusting that like you can do it and that you will do it, I think goes such a long way, especially when it comes to confidence, just having that trust.
Yeah, they definitely go. I'm like picturing the like hand in hand, right? Like trust and confidence scene. I was thinking, I'm like, when you guys think about being confident or someone who's confident, like does someone come to mind, like whether it be celebrity or like, you know, something like that, or like someone in your personal lives?
I'd say probably like, I call it my inner circle. So like Addie's in my inner circle.
I hope I am.
Girl,
you were like, no.
She's like, so no one in this room.
We've heard that too many times at this point. But like my sister-in-law, I have a few friends, like those people, I really try to surround myself with people who have those like ideals that I want. So, you know, I would just say in general, Addie is a very confident person. She's also freaking hilarious. My sister-in-law is just like the most outgoing, loving, like little ray of sunshine. And so it's like, I try to surround myself with those people. And that's kind of who I thought of when I saw that question. I was like, oh, like this person. And I like was like, wait, it's not, yeah, like, it's just the people you surround yourself with. And I think making that conscious effort of like, these are the ideals that I want. These are the attributes that I want to like work towards or I aspire to. And having those around you is like what you should be doing. And if you don't have friends like that, I'm sorry. Like, you should dump them and go find some.
Literally. Like, again, practice. Like, you have to get those kind of people that you want.
Don't they say like you are the accumulation of like your 5 closest people around
you're
you?
I was just gonna say that.
I'm like, why would you surround yourself with people who aren't confident or like who are projecting false confidence?
Sure. Yeah.
Because then you're going to start doing that and you're just going to be in this rut.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a sponge. Like, you're just like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, if you're constantly around that, I think it goes for like all the things that you kind of like consume and put yourself in, like situations, media that you consume, like all of it like all collects together to make who you are, unfortunately.
All the bits.
I just feel like subconscious is huge. So like if you have people who have that false or not confident just in general, it seeps in.
Yes. I would say when I was thinking about this, I thought of my friend Jilly, and I think we're going to have her on our podcast later on in the season. So that'll be awesome. But she just shows up every day fully 100% herself, even like on the bad days. Like, I'll like see her and I'll be like, hey, like, how are you doing? And she'll be like, today's not a good day. Yeah. But she's still like, that was so authentic in itself, and she's so confident saying it, like, and owning it. I really admire, because it's so hard to do that sometimes and be honest, not only with other people but yourself. And she just exudes so much of that, like, honesty with you. And like, when you're talking, when you're talking to someone and like they're locked in with you, like they're fully there, and she's just always gives everyone and everything her like 100. And I really like that. And I think that she also is very like, she has this like empathetic energy to her too, which I do think helps her like connecting with other people and having that confidence. Because sometimes it's hard, right? If you're like not vibing with someone, it's like
the pause.
Yeah, it's like literal, just like silence.
Yeah. But she just has that ability to fully be herself. And I love it. And again, showing up every day is fully her. Like, I was like, she would walk in a room and it's like,
she arrived.
Yeah, in such a gentle way as well. Yeah. Like, kind of opposite of what, like, how we were saying confidence, like, you think it's like that loud, and hers is that
demanding
more
attention.
Yeah, and hers is that more like soft spoken. And I think that plays a part for sure in how she shows confidence.
Well, just you saying that, I'm picturing it, right? Because it's like that same aura, that same feeling of like someone's taking up space, but they're not doing it in a bold or like aggressive way. It can be that gentle way, and that probably is more true confidence anyways, right? Because they don't have to all eyes on me kind of a thing, but they still like, I love that when they go into a room and you're like, they're here.
Yeah,
and
you're just like, Meanwhile, I'm like, everyone look at me, please. It's the Leo energy coming out.
I was like, I still do that. You don't
love that
have
for
to.
you, but for me, no.
No, I was listening to one of your episodes and everything you were saying, and then you said Leo. I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm like, big attention over here.
Yeah, I can see why you started a podcast now.
Yeah, iconic. Okay, my last question is.
Oh, that's scary.
I apologize.
Oh, I should get one of those for my cats.
Yeah.
Do you like that?
I love
Sorry,
it.
we'll talk about that later. I'm like, dang.
Murphy's dinner time intermission. Okay. So what do you think is like, we kind of already talked about what we've done to improve confidence, but like, if a friend came to you and they're like, girl, I'm struggling, I need to be more confident, what would you say? What would you recommend? Etc. All the things.
I would probably say daily affirmations, especially like right before bed, because I truly think that there is such an impact of going to bed on a positive note. And whether that is maybe like not daily affirmations, but it's like journaling or gratitude, I think that helps you to get to know yourself and finding an affirmation that feels authentic to you. Because sometimes like I have a daily affirmation app on my phone and I'll get it and I'll be like, hello, like
love that.
not for me. Yeah. And so just really figuring out like what you need in that moment. And also kind of what we were talking about earlier, I think style and fashion goes such a long way. And I've been really kind of leaning into that, and you just feel so good. And it truly is like a way to express yourself. And it's like you can go thrifting and find such cute pieces, or I have a bunch of wonderful friends, including Lily, who hand me down their clothing.
Amazing.
Which
The
I
best
love
kind of
so
friend.
much.
Yes.
And I think just having that mindset of like, I'm gonna do this for me. Like, I'm not gonna show up wearing this because I think this is what other people want me to do, but rather like I feel good doing this. And so kind of switching that mindset, in whether it's style or just how you show up in life, doing it for you is so important, because I think this world is so busy, and it's like we're not given a lot of time to do things for ourselves, and you have to make that a priority. So yeah, that's a good point. Like, that's something so simple that you can do every day, but it's for you. Like, I love that word busy. Like, there's just, it's chaotic, right? There's just stuff all the time. The world ain't gonna stop for you. So like, just do it. Like, you owe it to yourself, you know? Yeah. Do either of you listen to the Girls Camp podcast? Yes. The way I screamed into my mic. This is like bringing up their last episode that she did with Maddie Murphy. Oh, okay. And they're talking about like, it's so important that like you do it for you. Maddie's like little motto is like, if you were on a deserted island, would you still do it? Would you still wear that? Would you still get that thing? Whatever. And so like, it's just so true. Like, you have to do it for you and not what people around you, or like, you know, like, I don't want to say like society, because that feels like buzzword. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But like, just like the people around you and like the vibes, you know, you like go places and you're like I just feel like everyone's looking at this or doing this, but it's like, if you feel good, you're not gonna worry about it. You're not gonna care. I love that we all like gasped. Yeah, you said Girls Camp. Like, I was like yell into the mic. Legit was listening to that on the way over here. I love Haley so much. Haley, let us all on your podcast. This is the petition right now. I saw her this is like a side story, but I saw her at my gym once. No way. And I like sat there, she was on the treadmill and I was behind her, and I just like sat there staring at her, and I was like, do I go up and talk to her? Yeah. Or is that like a mean thing? Because I'm like, I hate when people talk to me at the gym. So I'm like, what do I do? But I'm like, but it's Haley Wrong. Right. So what did you do? I didn't say anything because I was too scared. Valid. Maybe next time. Next time. Be like, please let me on your podcast. Literally. Like, I don't have really good. I'm like, you're like come out with like a note. I'm like, look at all the topics we could talk about. I haven't played. Hand her a note and walk away. Slide in some like CBD gummies for like just to brag you. Bird. I know, whatever you were getting from your yoga. Oh my gosh. Like, I'll go get a huge stack. Yes, literally. I'm sorry. Totally digress. Yes, amazing. Okay, I guess if I were to give advice to anyone, and I kind of have given this advice before, but I'm just gonna give an example because it's easier to do it that way than anything else. But I had a friend who was struggling with body image, and she's always like, I've known her since we were 12. She's always had something kind of mentally going on with like how she looks at herself and how she perceives herself. And she's gorgeous, by the way, like drop dead gorgeous. And I remember talking to her, and she said something. She's like, I just know that I will always hate like my body, and I will always hate the way I look, and I just need to accept that. And I was like, what do you mean? You like, and she's like, yep, I'm just always gonna think this way about myself, and that's just it. And I'm like, Queen, you can like rewire your brain. Like, you don't have to do that. And I think a lot of the times when we are thinking that we're lacking confidence, we kind of come from that place of like, I'm not good enough. Like, you know, I don't have enough money, or I don't have the body that I want, or, you know, whatever. And it's those insecurities coming out. You can rewire your brain, you guys. Like, it takes a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of energy. And I think that's why people don't do it. Yeah. And they kind of are just like, you know what? Well, it is what it is. Whatever. But with like the daily affirmations, you can rewire your brain, and you can start, you know, telling yourself, or acknowledging at least those thoughts, and be like, okay, you know, maybe I felt that way yesterday, but today I'm not going to feel that way. And making those actionable items and actually working towards it makes a huge difference. Because I mean, I know I've had to rewire my brain so many times and be like, okay, that is not a helpful thought. Like,
we're going to throw that away. We're going to say something else and we're going to move on.
Yeah. Amazing.
So acknowledge the thought, you know, counter it, and then move on. And it's going to slowly start to build up. Again, it takes time, it takes energy, and that's like really hard to look at it in the long run, especially like if you've been doing it for a day or two and you're like, where is my confidence? I was promised. So I think just knowing that it's going to take time, but knowing you can do it and you have the power to make that choice is huge. Yeah. And having, again, there is confidence in having choice. And that is something that I think we like to forget sometimes. We just like to pigeonhole ourselves and we're like,
well, this is it.
Yeah. Well, like at first it's almost easier to do that. Yeah. It's just like, well, 100%. I have to. That's how it is. And that just made me think of a conversation about like, you have to allow change. Like, I think we always talk about change, but it's like, it's not just going to happen to you. Like, you have to allow it and like begin that process. And like you're saying, like, it's slow. Unfortunately, it's so slow. It takes time. You have to build on it, but I love it. Those are both daily affirmations and slowly countering those thoughts. I think that's perfect. They very, very reasonable. I'm like, we can do those. Yeah. So we're one step closer to being more confident bitches.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay. Any last thoughts?
I think just be confident. Yeah. I know that's easier said than done, but just it takes practice. If you put yourself into those situations where you can, you're going to find life opens up when you do that. Right.
Yeah.
Do it scared.
And I love that. Do it scared. I've been trying to tell myself, like, I'm going to be scared, but we're going to do it.
Yep.
I also heard one of my favorite yoga teachers said this quote, and it was, if you don't take up space, someone else will. So are you okay with an opportunity or that space being taken up because you were scared, right? And so I try and tell myself that all the time, literally even at my yoga studio. It'll be like such a tight class and I'm like doing my movements a little more like timid, but I'm like, no, I came to the studio to release energy and relax. Like, I deserve to take up that space. And I think that that's something that can be super powerful, and like, do it scared. Yeah. And just do it.
Yeah. Amazing. I have nothing to add. I'm like, that's literally perfect. Do it scared. Yep. Amazing. Bye. Thanks for listening. Remember to leave a rating and review, subscribe, and come back next Thursday for a new episode. And remember, you matter, and what you have to say matters.